It is time now to head into the chat room with radio broadcaster Katie WOOLF in Darwin, and in Sydney, Shelly Horton from 9honey.com.au. Good afternoon, ladies.
Hello there.
Hello.
Now, first up today, a Queensland judge has sparked controversy after suggesting Australia's blood alcohol limit of 0.05 is too low. Now, he's questioned why it was ever changed from 0.08. Look, it has been met with widespread criticism, with the RACQ's Steve Spalding saying it is clear from research that your crash risks spike from about 0.5 and above. Well, let's go first to you, Shelley. Do you think our blood alcohol limit should be changed?
Absolutely not. Well, you know what? Actually, no, I do think it should be changed because it should be brought back down to zero. I don't like the fact that there is such a room for error because you don't know about your body type, you don't know about your size, you don't know how long since you've had a drink it will be metabolized in your body. Make it zero. If it's zero, then there's no question. You have no drinks, therefore you can't say, sorry officer, my last drink was just an hour ago. I think it's ridiculous to be saying we should raise it when we have such a problem with drink driving on our roads in Australia. I don't know what this judge or magistrate is thinking about, and I think he needs to get with the times.
Yeah, I agree with you. It definitely shouldn't be raised, but I wonder about the zero limit policy because some medications can put you over. You can have some mouthwash, it could put you over. Maybe
that's ridiculous.
Maybe 0.02.
Ridiculous. Mouthwash, anything like that is not going to put you over. I think, you know, if you are on medication or something, you have that documentation with you and you can give it to the police. I think that what we need to do is take out the guess factor. The guess factor is what's killing people. Make it zero.
Katie, what do you think about the zero limit policy? So no alcohol at all.
There's parts of what Shelley says that I totally agree with. I actually don't see there being a big issue with it being 0.05. I certainly do not think that it should be raised any higher. I used to work for the police as a media advisor, and I went out to different car accidents at different times with our first responders. My mother was an emergency nurse for many, many years. I've seen firsthand the ramifications of what can go on when somebody gets behind the wheel after they've been drinking. I speak with the police each and every week. I hear from those traffic police about just how many people still get behind the wheel after they've been drinking. Now, I don't mean low blood alcohol limits. I mean incredibly high blood alcohol limits, and people are still on the road driving after they're drunk or after they've been drinking. They're causing accidents, and often it's happening during the day. It's not even happening at the hours of the day when you think it will happen. It's happening when you're on the road dropping your kids to school. It's happening when you're on the road picking your children up from school. That's what I find mortifying, and I think that we as a country need to say it's not okay to get behind the wheel after you've been drinking.
Yeah, so maybe Shelley has a good point. Let's just take the risk factor out and make it zero. Saying that, you know, even the day after, I feel like, I don't know, it's a really tough one. I definitely don't think it should be raised.
Even the day after, it means you're impaired. So therefore, maybe you shouldn't be driving. So I don't know, I've always felt you'll know definitely if you're over the limit or not if you have zero.
Yep. Look, it's a really good point. Let's move on, and as Aussie families struggle with huge energy bills, AGL has just posted a $1.6 billion profit. You heard right, Katie. Electricity is a fundamental necessity and so many Australians are doing it so tough. This profit is a bit of a slap in the face for those who are struggling.
Oh, it is a slap in the face, but is anybody surprised that they're not going to lower the cost of electricity? You know, at the end of the day, they're a major company and they've obviously got shareholders to keep happy and that type of thing, but it is a slap in the face. I think if you're not going to lower the electricity prices for those that are doing it tough, well, you've got to make sure at the very least that money is being invested back into your power supply and back into the different ways that we can deliver that power supply. It may be a greener way, whether it's I know that they do a lot with solar power as it is and also gas, but we've got to look at some other ways to lower these prices. And yes, they've said that they're forecasting they're not going to have as good a year next year, but we're talking about over $1 billion.
I know, Shelley, I think this is an absolute rort. Having access to electricity in a first world country, I think, is a fundamental human right.
I agree.
Saying that, AGL is a business, do they have a right to charge what they like?
I don't think they do. I think that when I read that figure of $1 billion, it actually made me feel a bit sick at the stomach. And I think if I was an AGL customer, then I would look at moving companies because I just don't want them to be thinking about their shareholders over like vulnerable
I don't
Australians.
think it's just AGL. I think pretty much every energy
All of
company is
them are,
making a
yeah.
lot of money, right?
Absolutely, but I mean, you just have to read some of the stories about our vulnerable Australians who are having to choose whether or not to put the heater on or to use the oven. I mean, you don't want people making those sort of choices.
No.
It's not, I mean, it's Australia. We should be fine
Yeah.
about
Does
this.
the government need to step in?
I think they do, actually, and I think that the electricity companies are being a little bit sneaky, saying, oh, we have to raise the cost because we're going to green energy and we have to do... You know what? That's just the way that the system changes. Guess what? We used to have newspapers only. We didn't have online. You
Yeah.
just have to roll with it. We didn't put that cost on to the customers, so I think it's a bit sneaky that the electricity companies are allowed to do that.
Yeah, I agree. I got a bill for $800 for a quarter. I mean,
Wow.
Yeah.
ouch. Like, what?
You know-
how are we supposed to afford that? It's absolutely
Yeah.
ridiculous, and I can't believe electricity costs that much. And you're right, Shelley, low socioeconomic groups, they're making choices between putting the
Yeah.
heating on and having hot water. It's ridiculous, and I think the
Just
government
recently,
has to
we
step
had a
in.
house burned down in the western suburbs because they'd lit a fire because they couldn't afford to have the heat on.
Yeah, it's not right.
That's terrible.
All right,
It's
we're
not
going to
right.
take a break, but first it is time to say goodbye to Western Australian viewers. For everyone else, still ahead in chat room, anger as a one-punch killer is used to educate school kids. Should we be sending kids to prison to learn? And Coles under fire over its mini plastic toy giveaway as it struggles with the bag ban. Is it a big deal or are they hypocrites? Welcome back to the chat room with Katie Wolf and Shelly Horton. And a coward punch killer appealing an 8-year jail sentence is giving talks to school kids who visit the prison as part of an education program. Andrew Lee, who killed teenager Patrick Cronin in 2016, has been talking to legal studies students. The victim's family is furious, saying he has no right talking to kids. Shelley, what do you think?
I'm going to be a little bit controversial here, but I think it's good for him to talk to kids because they're actually going to those prisons as a deterrent program. They're going there to learn what not to do. So it's kind of ideal to talk to someone who, through one coward punch, has not only killed someone but ruined his own life as well. So I think that that's actually a powerful message. I can understand that the victim's parents are upset, and I have so much compassion and empathy for them, but I actually think this is about educating kids to never, throw a coward punch, and this could be actually quite powerful.
Katie, should a recently convicted killer be able to talk to school kids?
No, I don't think so. I totally agree with the premise that they should be able to, that obviously these children should be educated in what's right from wrong and how you can ruin your life with a single punch, or you can ruin your life by making a stupid decision. But I just think, where's the compassion or the thought about the family, of course, of the victim? Why are we in a situation where this person is sort of being able to speak to our young people about what's right and wrong when he hasn't even served his whole sentence yet?
Yep.
Now, I get that he's obviously, that these kids are going into the prison to learn about that, but I just think they could have been a little bit more careful about who they have speaking to the children.
Yeah, I agree. He's only a year into his term. Maybe when he's finished and he's out of jail, he could speak. But I tend to agree with Katie on this one, Shelley. I just think it's inappropriate and just lacks compassion for the victim's family. All right, let's move on. And is it a case of double standards? Coles is being criticised for its current Little Shop campaign, encouraging customers to buy and trade miniature plastic grocery items. Now, Greenies have slammed it as a direct contradiction to their plastic bag ban. Katie, I don't know. My kids are going nuts over this thing. It's marketing genius. What do you think?
Amber, my children are nuts about this as
Right?
well. I don't even
shop at
actually,
Coles, but I do
me
now.
either. I've had to swap over. This week I had to swap from
Me
Woolworths
too.
to Coles. And I was like, oh my goodness, am I really doing this? Here in the Northern Territory though, we implemented the changes to the plastic bags several years ago. So we actually don't have those single-use plastic bags here.
Sydney is
And-
really struggling with it, let
well,
me tell
I've
you.
heard, and I find it quite funny that other states are struggling so much with it because it's not a big deal.
Oh, it is a big deal when you're not used to it and you don't plan ahead and you've got hungry children. You need to do a $200 shop and you have no plastic bags. Shelley, back to the little miniature toys that our kids are all going crazy for, and has made Katie and me switch supermarkets. Can you believe, for the
Purpose
week?
served.
Do you think Coles is being hypocritical?
Yeah, And I think you guys need to not be feeding into it. I mean, come on.
It's not junk food. They can't eat it.
Defending the environment, and you're going, kids want some little plastic
cute. Look,
toys.
they're on
I'll
camera.
swap shops.
They're little
No.
mini things. They're really cute.
No.
Like you get a little
McDonald's
Vegemite
stopped having
and
those little
nappies.
plastic toys years ago. Come on, guys. We're talking about the environment. This is the perfect time to have a learning conversation with the kids that little plastic toys are not cool. They're just landfill.
But all
You're probably right.
Oh, you raise a really good point, but they're really cute. So you can get
Oh, my God.
so you can get like a little Vegemite jar and you get little nappies
no.
and I think a little Nutri-Grain.
Down.
And you
Coles
like
is going
pack them all up.
down. Coles is going down.
Haven't they done exactly though what they were aiming to do? They've got the kids totally sucked in.
They certainly have. On that note, we have to leave it there. Katie and Shelley, it has been
Thank
fabulous
you.
having you on Chatroom. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Stay with us, everyone. It is time now for Nine's Afternoon News.